Well, that's a sound check, and if anything else, it's an alarm call for you. So, good morning, New Zealand. My name is Lewis Salim. I'm a British commentator and referee here at the World Championships in Canada. And technically, I'm joining Ian Curtin, who's on the New Zealand Men's Masters team. I've had the pleasure of reffing a few of your games, but it's nice to share the commentary area with you for once.
Oh, thank you, Lewis. Good afternoon to the people watching in the US, and good evening to the people watching in Turkey.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, so we've got an interesting matchup here. The Women's Elite game just finishing. New Zealand high-scoring game between them and South Africa in that one. And now we've got New Zealand versus Turkey. When you look back at the Women's Elite group, very interesting to see that there's different teams from different parts of the world. So Great Britain going through to the final with New Zealand, so that's Europe and Oceania. You're technically Oceania, right?
Yeah.
And then they beat Colombia from South America, and obviously South Africa from Africa. So that's interesting, the divide there. And we've got Oceania versus Asia here with Turkey versus New Zealand. And then we've got a European semi-final coming up straight after this match for those of you that are tuned in for Great Britain versus France.
Yeah.
Interesting where these teams are coming from in terms of the finals and the spread between the two teams. Which in what used to be, you always used to see Australia and New Zealand battling it out in a final. And obviously recent years, Great Britain slowly getting better in that men's elite division. And how do you think the game's going to be here? Turkey, who in recent times really improved their great game in the last 5-6 years.
It's going to be a very interesting game because I think Turkey just won their quarterfinal by one goal. New Zealand won fairly easily over the US. So there are it could go either way, I think, because once you get down to the top four here, essentially one goal can win it.
Yeah, I think this sort of, a lot of it is going to depend on the game plan that these teams are able to execute. So I think the Turkish will be more than happy to stick it on a wall, but I think that the New Zealanders will be able to cope on the wall, whereas the Turkish aren't going to be able to cope in the centre of the pool. So if the Kiwis are able to get it down that central channel, I think that the Turks will get drawn into more desperate fouls, trying to slow them down, especially with the skillful players they've got. Your Liam Watsons and especially the player that probably Rob Tinkler, and potentially the player that I'm probably most impressed with at these World Championships. I saw him play a Euro Clubs competition a couple of years ago, and that was Jesse Hocking, number 7. Very impressed with Jesse.
As we get underway here, and the two players sitting for New Zealand are Brendan Maxwell and Andrew Gunn. So Turkey in the dark suits on the left-hand side of our screen, and New Zealand in the light blue on the right-hand side. And very strong drive here by Turkey to start the game, almost down to the New Zealand goal.
Yeah, going straight to the wall and going down that wall. Turkey, very strong physical presence, probably outweigh the New Zealand boys by almost double. So that's why they'll be really happy to go down that side wall. As now we see Jesse Hocking try and come down this near side in front of the camera. Jesse recognisable with those chevron fins. Turkey sticking it back onto the wall. Vice captain there, number 10. Here we go with Turkish pronunciations. Ziyavolkhan. I'm just going to slur everything. That'll probably be about right. And New Zealand now being able to get it into the centre of the pool, trying to stretch the Turkish and go all the way over to the far side. He's got the legs to get in front of the Turkish guy here. He's gone all the way from across his own tin to the opposition 5-metre area.
And he had support there.
Oh, and look, he's an inverted swimmer. Turning the bat on its reverse side and swimming on his back, keeping control of the puck. That's an absolutely amazing swim there by the New Zealand to set up this territory. And we have our first stoppage of the game.
And it's against Turkey there. It's like stick infringement.
Yeah, who's that in the water there? Is that Alexander from France? I can't recognise this local. I know that Val's in this game, but we'll go straight back underwater and we'll have a look. Great move there by the Kiwis though, Ian, just coming out of their own defence. Just one swimmer taking it upon themselves and putting them in a great offensive position.
And making a superb drive, as well as having the support coming through.
Spits out into the middle. Turkey unable to capitalise as the New Zealanders win it back.
And this time a New Zealand infringement.
Obstruction. Number 23 there, that's Christophe Follet, the Frenchman there, who's coming back from a very serious knee injury, and great that he's able to referee in this final. He was struggling to swim at the start of the Worlds, but doing a lot better. Interesting there, the Turkish just having that 45-degree wall that sort of pushes players up and over them, but just off the bottom, so the referees say, you can't get underneath them, but you're just not trying. So they're now making a force down that far side wall and just able to get really close to this Kiwi goal.
Yeah, again driving very strongly, like we saw in the first minute, towards the Kiwi corner.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic the way they've sort of come about this game and just using that physical size to their advantage and not really worrying about the way that the New Zealanders have the speed over them. The Turkish aren't slow by any means, but here we go, number 9 for New Zealand. Andrew Glyn Harris is going for a race. He's got past halfway. He's got the beating of the guy. The Turkish is putting him up, but supporting cast come down in a very nicely timed clean tackle.
And staying down.
Oh, but it's great pick by the New Zealander, and then even better, the Turkish players staying down. Oh, we're in for a treat here, Ian. We've only played 3 minutes, and this is an absolute end-to-end spectacle.
And you can hear the crowd as well in the background. They're excited as well.
Yeah, just Turkey not able to get back out to that wall. And as I said, if you're able to keep it in the channel, then the Kiwis are going to have the advantage. But great stick block there on the goal. No foul, no advantage on the surface. That was well ref there. And it's cut out well by the Turks. Need to get rid of it here, and we cut to the surface. Christophe Follet has seen something, and it's an advantage to New Zealand. New Zealand obviously having 2 teams here who one just playing and winning, and one who have your Masters team that have been resting for a couple of days. Really in good voice, and because they've not brought a women's team, nobody to cheer on for the Turkish this time.
Yeah. A good opportunity here for New Zealand, going straight for the goal, looking to drive it forward, but Turkey very strong. And it looks like we have another foul here, and it's against the New Zealander here for obstruction.
Yeah, he just saw that there as he's trying to swim out, putting the pressure on with his body before he goes for the puck. And we just had 4 minutes, and we've got a long way still to go. Yeah, we all thought it was going to be we all thought that might have been a goal too. Forrest Axford, is that relation to Terry?
I believe it might be Terry's son.
All right, hi Terry's son. Here we have a stoppage as Turkey turning through the New Zealanders, and it's illegal advancement down that wall using the glove more than the stick. So this is going to come back a considerable way here as Christophe Follet lines up the advantage puck.
So a very exciting first 5 minutes here with play going up both ends. Both teams getting it right up into the goal tray. New Zealand probably with the best chance, best 2 chances probably in this half, but a huge flick there.
Yeah, Jesse Hocking hurling the puck forward, sticking it on the wall. And I think what they're going to try and do here is bring the Turkish boys in, make them think, they've put it on the wall, let's have them here. Let's get the boys down and win them with size. And then you're just going to see them peel off in short way. But no, we've actually beaten them on the wall. Ignore what I'm saying, what do I know?
And they're quickly recycling it, again trying to get numbers down, flicking it into the middle. But again, Turkey having numbers down, and then essentially everyone but one player goes to the surface to breathe.
Turkey just trying to take their time and let their team reset underneath their subs area. I was speaking to the Great Britain coach last night, and one of the Kiwi refs, let's just see what they're saying here. Christophe Follet again, saying a stick tackle advantage Turkey. Yeah, we were speaking to the Great Britain coach, and he was speaking to one of the Kiwi refs, and he says, you might have seen them play, but until these boys get in the water, the New Zealand boys, they have not played a team like Turkey. Just how physical they are, how strong they are, and how fast they are. Trying to find a weakness is like really, really hard, and Great Britain are just starting to get the better of them now. They've played them enough times, playing them in the Stellenbosch semi-final, which they went on to lose 3-2. The group game and finals at the European Championships in 2017, that was Egger, and then playing them in the group stage. So I think Great Britain have had enough. I think Great Britain would like to have New Zealand in the final, but they're really hoping that the Kiwis feel the full force of the Turkish pack here. But New Zealand trying to come through the middle and having a nice little bit of a roll on.
And recycling it and looking for the forward option there as Rob Tinkler looks to spread it wide.
Yeah, nice lateral into the centre there, but Turkey are the ones who get to this puck first and take it underneath their substitution area. Turkey it's hard to say with the guys. I mean, they're very strong, physical, and in terms of their overall fitness, they are very fit guys. But I think the Kiwi boys are probably the fitter group here in terms of what they can do. As Jesse Hawkins just looks up there at the referee, and I mean, it frustrates me when players do that. Look, it's like, Jesse Hocking, calm down. Okay, let the referee do their job. You worry about playing the game. Okay, same can be said about Jordan Fryers from Canada. You'll be there as a referee playing an advantage like you want to do because he's coming across and he has the puck, and then he stops. It's like, why stop? Do the job for your team. Don't be like Neymar.
He might be just checking to see that it was an advantage was played, so he didn't have to bother swimming across the.
But you've got to think about that as a player.
Yeah.
If you get the play to stop and the foul's given, you're putting the whole of the Turkish team, the very sizable Turkish team, behind the puck in between you and the goal. Where he has the puck, there's probably only 3-4 guys down behind him, and there's 2 guys floating on the surface ahead of him as the forwards. So you're like, it's
so
like,
you can keep playing.
Yeah, keep playing. And then if you lose possession, then it comes back, and just don't get frustrated as a player. Trust the referees and let them do their job.
And again, Turkey working down that far wall there, having a few numbers down, but looking like slowing down a little bit with less players on the bottom.
So the Turkish, not as technical as New Zealand. I think that's where this game is going to be won and lost for New Zealand. If they're able to give it to their technical players, their Hockings, their Watsons, their Tinklers, then it's going to be really interesting to see how they move the puck, draw the fouls from the Turkish. There we might have a barge.
Yeah, that was very active.
Yeah.
For an obstruction foul there.
Obviously, the player allowed to move to try and pick up the puck, but has to be done so in a way that he's not impeding the other team. Oh, Finn on the puck there. That might be classed as an illegal knockdown. Turkey with a central drive. That's a barge right there on the goal line. This surely is not going to stand if it goes in.
And it looks like they have a call.
Wow, that does surprise me.
That looked like obstruction.
Yeah, it looks like the guy on the Turkish player on the tin is he just swims straight into him. He feels he's swimming on a line, and then he feels the Kiwi boy trying to get behind him, and then he just thinks, right, I'm gonna put you between me and the wall, and then bang, like hits him straight there. And I'm very surprised that the referees have given that as a goal. I would have thought for sure the guy on this side would have seen it. I mean, they might have a different interpretation to me. I'm just saying what I saw on the screen.
Yeah, and it looks like
a silenced Kiwi crowd.
Benson has called a white timeout there for the New Zealand team.
Yeah, very experienced player, Benson Taylor Wolf as he now is, and
as we see one of the new caps for this tournament, Ed Firth there, number 3.
Sorry, I'll stick that onto the Kiwi boys. We're looking at the crowd.
Oh.
Yeah, Ed Firth, he was coaching the under-23 women in Egger about 5 years ago when he was over in GB. Not too bad a job there, got himself to come home with a bronze medal.
And he was also coaching the under-19, I believe, in Hobart last year.
Rob Tinkler coached the boys in Castellon.
Last year in Hobart.
Yeah, but not the GB girls.
No.
Was he Kiwi girls?
Yeah, no, New Zealand man.
Sorry, I thought you were saying he coached the GB girls, and I was like, nah, Rob. So yeah, these Kiwi boys known well in the UK. Rob just missing out on a bronze medal with his GB under-19 boys. One of those boys who he named as captain, Tom Pitchforth, here playing for Great Britain as an elite member. There, again, leading with the body first and playing the puck behind against New Zealand number 3 there. That's Benjamin Stewart, Pavel Smith.
No, number 3 is Ed Firth.
I thought number 5 was Ed Firth. Oh, I'm looking at number 4. Yeah, whatever. It's been a long day. Oh, and a chance to break here by the Turkish. Nice underbody lateral, but it doesn't have enough on it to find its way to number 12.
Nick Healy.
Yusuf Yanak. That's a Turkish name I can pronounce. And here goes Ed Firth, number 3.
Again looking to drive it forward, but losing possession to the Turks, who again looking to do that shuffle pass. And very surprisingly, the puck's sitting there for possibly half a second.
Interesting the way he dropped it down. He's lost his snorkel, and he's going to either breathe on the surface or he's going to go back down for his snorkel, one of the two.
Or he's going to sub.
Yeah, or he might sub. I don't know, though. If you're a guy in that situation, you're not going to sub without your snorkel.
Yeah.
Some players do carry the spares, but some, very set on the kit that they have. Now we have a stoppage as we look to the Australian referee. No, not Australian, Canadian referee, Valerie.
On the far side. No, in one of the games, I think 2 days ago, Colombian lost their fin, and it was sitting in the pool for about a minute and a half. He subbed out.
Bit different fins. As Turkey call their timeout, you kind of need your fin to play.
Yeah. And also swim to the sub box, you think.
Turkey here, I think they're just saying there, we're not using any of the space. You need to make sure that, we use our bodies in the right way. Or maybe saying, we need to come off the wall on the 45 that bit sooner so we can have the angle and build up some momentum. That's one of the things the Turkish team struggle with, having that momentum coming in from a 45 or a 90-degree angle going down the back wall. They just can't have enough momentum. So these guys, especially the forward there, number 10, Ziya Volkan Aksu, being one of the guys who gets down and he needs to start going. When you stop these boys, they're very hard. It's very hard for them to get going and get up to that space. Once they're out of that maximum velocity for them as players, boy are they hard to stop. I played against their Masters team in Hege, and they were, we beat them as a team of refs, but not the easiest bunch of guys to defend against, the way that they moved the puck.
New Zealand looking to spread this wide. Essentially swim around these Turks, get them engaged on this side, and then probably look to recycle quickly.
Nicholas Craig Healy trying to take on 3 of the Turkish. Almost manages it. He's still down. He's kind of pinned underneath there.
As we see Liam Watson look to spin it wide.
Yeah.
And he does throw.
Switching it around the back and then coming back inside. Lovely move. Comes into the centre. And great job there. Stick tackling and staying down by the Kiwi boys. Nice drive being put on here. Trying to use that central channel.
Ooh.
Nicholas Craig Healy missing his tackle there as number 9 now comes down. Andrew Glenn Harris. It's Liam Watson coming off on the 45, but it's knocked down there. Let's see what the referee is going to have to say.
And stick infringement there by the Kiwis. Looked like the Kiwis were getting a little bit of momentum and drive going on there. This will be a little respite for the Turkish as we go underwater. Again, New Zealand looking to bring it up through the middle and then switching it wide, looking for support coming in. But the Turkish team is down on the bottom, stopping it. Looks like a bit of tic-tac going on between both teams. Getting possession, losing as the Kiwis drive strongly towards the goal, but Turkey being able to repel it as Nick takes on 2 Turkish guys.
Stoppage in play as we go up to the surface, and it's going to be an advantage puck to New Zealand. Warning number 4 or 5 there for the Turkish. In 90 seconds, it would be great for the Kiwi boys if they're able to put it in the tin here just before half time and then start the second half.
And just off to the right hand side of the goal, this is probably a good opportunity here for New Zealand. Let's see what they do here.
Oh, trying to get a false start there, Jesse Hocking, as now he takes it in. The Turkish very disciplined on these advantage pucks.
But New Zealand not putting anyone on against that advantage
and it's
line.
coming to the centre, and that looks like it's number 12 there, Nicholas Craig Healy, who's stuck his bat on it, and the referees have given it as a goal, and now we can hear the Kiwi crowd once again coming back into it.
So Nick Healy was also in the New Zealand under-23 team in Hobart last year as well.
No, well, I didn't go to Hobart, so I might have recognised him when there's a few in a few of the boys that I recognise. Anton, who's here reffing, he was in under-23s when I was in Castellon, so there might be a couple of guys in the squad that are familiar faces, but then again, some of them not so much to me.
Yeah.
I've not really seen the guys. Very, very serious, and you can't really disturb them. Coaches don't get too happy when you just go in and have a chat. How are you doing? How's things? Especially when they're preparing for a game.
So Turkey looking to drive and respond straight away, but New Zealand looking to maintain possession as we have a quick call here with 20 seconds left on the clock in this first half. Looks like it might only be a quick opportunity here for Turkey.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get much out of his play. They're down nice and early, trying to make the most of it.
They've reset very quickly.
Yeah, they've reset, but it's down to 10 seconds is the clock. New Zealand just need to have a disciplined defence, and there we go. Jesse Hocking seeing it into the back corner. Great game management there by the Kiwis, and now we have half-time.
So you can hear the crowd there. Very appreciative of this excellent first half. As we go into halftime, it's Turkey 1, New Zealand 1. Turkey starting off the game, scoring an opening goal, while New Zealand just managing to score just before halftime.
Now, one of my Spanish friends was able to slow down YouTube earlier, and I don't know how she did it. I was really impressed. But just watching this Turkish goal back, just trying to see what happens and how it happens. Yeah. CMAS Commissioner JJ said I talked too much about the referees and their decisions, but it just looks like if you look here and you just look here at the right hand side of the goal. Here, this Kiwi boy comes down. He's on the goal, and then you just see the Turkish guy there, just pinning him,
taking him out,
just giving him no chance to get round. So maybe the referee's view's obstructed, or maybe he's playing advantage for something else, or maybe he believes it didn't really impact on the play because of where the puck is in relation to that foul.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm sure the referee's probably seen it, and that might be a great call. I mean, the Kiwi boys didn't really seem to put up much of a debate.
I think they did. They did ask the referee about obstruction.
But great, mindset from them to just say, okay, right, we've not got the foul. Don't get hung up on the fact we've gone down to a goal in this way. Let's make sure we get back up. It's nice to have Helen Payne chatting to me, and still Helen, another one of those girls that she came over and studied in Lancaster Uni.
Okay.
And she played a competition with my team for the Manchester Octopus tournament. So that was fun, and hopefully see her if she comes across with the under-23s in Sheffield. Let's see who else we've got on the chat. We've got
Darren Fu, Matthew Hart.
Matt, it was about 6 minutes to go in the first half.
So as we run down half-time, 25 seconds left to go.
So looking at the game, who do you think is the team that's maybe more in control or has the sort of edge coming into this second half?
That's a difficult question, Lewis. I think Turkey have been very strong, recycling, making the progress up the walls, as well as having people down. But New Zealand, as you said earlier, has a little bit more of a skills advantage. But whether they can get around the Turkish players.
Yeah, and I think we saw that at the opportunities when we saw them trying to break, just the way they moved the puck, drawing the Turkish into the fouls. And I think the better team so far in the first half has been the New Zealanders. They've shut down many an attack by the Turkish, and they've had the more dangerous looking threats on goal. It's going to be really interesting to see how the Turkish come out and play this second half.
I mean, as we see Turkey driving again towards the New Zealand goal.
Yeah, absolutely. But as I say, it's going to be interesting because I think at 1-0 up, you see Turkey just go that bit more defensive, and they're able to just absorb that pressure, put the bodies in the way. But if there's one team you don't want to invite to swim at you and try and score a goal, it would be the Kiwis, especially, well, if you're Turkey.
Yeah, so a good advantage here for Turkey, almost on the 5-2 as they look to drive it towards the back wall.
Trying to get it through all the bodies there. Great discipline being down by the New Zealand boys, not jumping into tackles and allowing them to move the puck. Oh, and that's a nice takeaway there by number 2, Edward David Firth. But it's illegally knocked down. That might not have been David. It looked like he got his stick on it after it had landed, but somebody there for New Zealand just knocking it down illegally, and advantage this time is going to be for Turkey. Number 5 for Turkey, Ismail.
So New Zealand, they're actually getting the forward to come out and get through that Turkish.
Number 5 again,
blocking.
Ismail Saraka trying to force the puck through. He manages to find his teammate. He's trying to flick it through and chase it. He's back to bad Turkish. Tries the underbody flick, but hits his own body and it's knocked down. Christophe Follet playing an advantage there.
But the referee on the far side, is that?
It's Robbie from Australia.
From
Robbie
Tasmania.
Kirkpatrick, yeah. So they're just going to discuss it. Let's still a sea of black and people starting to pour in now for the upcoming game, which is going to be a very loud contest. We've had a few loud contests. France versus Canada in the men's masters, very loud game. I was on the boom doing the chief refereeing for that, and we are going to have a very loud one for the GB. The GB Elite girls will probably come out to support their lads, and the Masters boys, they'll be here too. Big moment for Great Britain to try and get into their first World Championship final for a while.
And it looks like also some of the New Zealand ladies that just played are also in the crowd there.
Yeah, and we're sticking with the original decision, an illegal knockdown by New Zealand, and the puck's only just been spotted, not giving him much chance there. Now we get the buzzer to go.
Oh. Again, Turkey trying to provide a sort of snowplow by those two forwards. Very dangerous there. And
so just referees taking a time out to try and discuss what it is that they're seeing there, and it's as a referee in that situation, it's really, really hard because those guys were swimming down and they're looking back. They're looking back under their bodies to try and see where the puck is, which means they're sort of, they're making an effort to get the pass. But their unnatural body position, the way they're up on that 45-degree angle, it makes it very hard because normally the referee would say, well, you can go over the top of the player to get towards the puck. They're not obstructing you that way. But the natural angle that they're on, if you try and go over them, you've got to go 2 meters up to then come back down. You might as well not bother going down and just attack from the surface. And they're saying there was an illegal use of the free arm, and Turkey now are going to go down to 5. This could be a game-changing moment here for the Kiwi boys in need of a goal, and there might just be that little bit more space for them to swim in and, call more for Turkey to be defensive. And it's 2 minutes that Bilal Eham Karamina has got.
But we've also seen Turkey in previous games step it up when they've had players kicked out.
If you mention the semi-final from a few years ago, Matt Nunn is going to go ballistic.
I didn't say anything.
I know you didn't. I'm just pre-warning you before he says anything about Turkey being down to less players.
Well, I mean, any team, when you're down a player, can step it up as well. I mean, there's been several instances of teams down to 5 or 4 scoring against the team of 6, so provides a little extra incentive sometimes.
Yeah, and the Colombians, they're one of the best disciplined teams, very similar to like an Italian national football or soccer team, where they'll just get a goal and then they're just willing to defend. And when they go down to those numbers, the way they train in deep water and do 4v4 hockey, just wanting the pressure to come towards them and then absorbing that and just seeing it out in different phases, killing time.
As we see another foul against the New Zealanders there, right under their sub-bench, getting a few fresh players in.
And they're going to be lined up, and this is on... Kiwis are going to be lined up over their 7-metre line, and puck played from the 10 metres, just in front of their subs bench. And Turkey putting it back on the wall, just trying to kill time and draw in fouls, which is ultimately going to run down the penalty clock on their player. Still the play on that far wall. New Zealand managed to break it off now, but shut down straight away by a strong Turkish arm. Breaks to a New Zealand player who takes it, trying to get round Turkish, but not able to do so. Is it still on that far wall? Turkey now gaining possession and trying to come back down that far wall. Thoughts on the second half so far, Ian?
Very even, both sides. We are still tied, so both teams probably looking to score a goal. It's an opportunity. But probably it looks like both teams are very settled. They're not rushing, so they'll probably just try and move down to the opposition end and look for a foul and look to create some chances. There doesn't seem to be any panic out there amongst either team. They're very they look like they're both keeping the same game plan they started the first half with.
Yeah, we've got 6-on-6 hockey once again. The Turkish are the team that's come out in the second half as the stronger, in my opinion, during this first 5 minutes, being camped out in the New Zealand half. And this is a nice drive towards the goal.
Drive towards the goal.
And it looked like a beautiful save initially, and it's going to be interesting. Nothing so clear for me. And there's a referee timeout being called by Valerie Robert, the Canadian referee.
It looked like a big hit there on the Kiwi defender on the goal.
Great initial save though by Nicholas Craig Healy. His body's lifted up off the goal tray, and he's just able to angle his bat in there, come away with the puck, and unfortunately just the way the Turkish crowd around there, nowhere for him to go. And I mean, great offensive pressure by Turkey, not allowing him to get anywhere, because he would have ideally liked to come across and switch it round, but just that discipline in that position. You're halfway up in the pool, you can see him with his left arm trying to like stay down, help himself get down the wall, and then just the way he steers the puck away, that's amazing stick handling by the New Zealand boys.
And in these final games, we do see a lot of the referees having these conferences in the pool, because it's very difficult to get a full picture of what's going on just from one angle. That's why the 3 referees discuss, because they can each see a different aspect of play, and no goal there.
Yeah, it's especially on the goal line, it's really hard, because sometimes you want to play the advantage, but you have to make sure that the correct decisions come to it sometimes. So Valerie Robert saying she saw something that wasn't to her liking, and she's the referee on this side, and she had the best view of that obstruction. I mean, I wouldn't have liked to call that, because that was very, very tough in terms of what the Turkish player was doing and how much he's trying to play the puck and how much he's interfering with a defender. Not as clear cut as the incident before, which I was talking about and went back to look at with you. But no, and this might be that let off New Zealand might be something that helps them now. That stopping a goal at one end gives you the confidence and the mindset to go down the other end and score. And the disallowed goal by Turkey, might, as we see them going backwards, hurt them psychologically.
So New Zealand getting a chance to get into the Turkish half. It's been fairly heavy pressure for the defense for New Zealand, as they're looking to drive it up this close side wall.
So Jesse Hocking down there in the centre. Now we've got Liam Watson battling against Kokonyagi Zaidan. So who's this going out? It's an advantage puck to New Zealand, and it looks like number 12 for Turkey, Yusuf Yanuk, who's very noticeable by his fins. They've got Y on both, on each foot. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's a different player. I'll notice when he gets back in. And yeah, nice initial drive by the Kiwi boys. Liam Watson coming down here. He's got an option to try and switch, but he's facing the wrong way. Probably an advantage being played here. And the Turkish getting very frustrated at the way the game's just stopping and starting now. But I've got to give credit to the referees that in the initial instance, when these fouls are happening, they're allowing play to go on. They're trying to play the advantage and make sure that hockey flows. And that's really good to see, especially when we're getting towards these final games where, some people want the calls to be brought up straight away, like, Jesse Hocking when he was fouled earlier. But it is nice when you get the hockey to flow and it's not won by penalties and penalty goals.
Oh.
Don't know how much you can say that's stopping the puck when the Turkish guy had his fin there from the start. Looks like it's going to either a good advantage played or just the fact that New Zealand have got on with it and they've got it on that far side wall. Underneath the Turkish sub-bin, not the nicest place to be because they can get the fresh bodies in, but driving them back towards their goal. The Turkish facing their own goal, but now they managed to clear out to their defensive corner.
And then the Kiwi attackers just sitting off here, waiting for the right moment as we see them come down, possibly looking for a drive. But Turkey very happy to just keep it on the wall over there underneath their sub-bench. As we see 4 Turkish players, and they start to drive it up that wall very quickly.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get the fresh bodies in from Turkey.
And they've recycled it.
Yeah, this is a nice drive down the centre. Sorry, down the far side of the pool, but it's stopped by New Zealand under their own sub-bench, so they're going to get some players in. And maybe we'll see them play yo-yo from side to side, as you can see. You can just see him there, number 12 for Turkey.
And
Yusuf Yannick with his YY fins.
So it looks like an advantage there played by the referee.
Potentially, let's go up and have a look. Obstruction against New Zealand. Was that number 11 or number 13? Number 13, Andre Julian Jackson Heller. I mean, these got some long names.
They're just middle names.
Middle names. One of the only people that put the middle names on. Now we're coming back across.
Yeah, Turkey again. Not quite having those people on the 45 as before.
Just trying to sneak through the middle there, but that was a door that was always closing.
As we see Turkey again put plenty of bodies on the ground and start that drive.
Advantage being played there, so we'll see which referee Alain Levert decides to go to first. Yeah, he's whistling and he's calling a referee's timeout, so he's just going to, we'll get some clarification on which of the calls was first.
So we see referees signaling both directions.
Yeah, so he's just indicating it was Christophe Follet with the initial choice, and it's going to go in the way of Turkey in this instance.
Probably around 8 meters out from the Kiwi goal, as a big shot in by the Turkish players there, looking to drive and recycle it. Oh, and it's gone under the New Zealand players, and
it's number 12 again coming away with the puck.
Nick Healy, doing some great defensive work here in this game.
Is he one of your new Black Caps?
Yeah.
Nick Healy?
Oh no, he's played before for New Zealand.
So for the elite team, was he in the squad in Stellenbosch?
Yeah.
Oh, nice chance to break here by number 9. And here he goes with that inverted swim, and that looks like it might be a stick tackle. Interesting for the referee's view on that, as he inverted his stick and it looked like he got hit first. But doesn't really matter, as they're able to break down the middle. Nice swim by New Zealand, getting so close to the goal, but stopped brilliantly by the Turkish swimmer defender. As I say, these guys aren't too slow, they're pretty quick. And
recycling it very, very quickly, getting bodies down.
Nick Healy going to look to try and play it into the middle. Needs to be a nice flick. It is a nice flick, and it's just Liam Watson now coming away with it. Trying to put it back into the danger zone there.
Again, both teams getting players down. Turkey just managing to snuff out the play.
Oh, stoppage, and just lucky as New Zealand were going to be on the chase there. And Alain Levaux once again indicating there's going to be a referee's timeout, and they're going to discuss this call. New Zealand really impressed with that, and the Kiwi fans.
But you could see that they were playing advantage for a long time, allowing New Zealand the opportunity to score there.
So let's see. Robbie Kirkpatrick just saying things, and they're going to... small indication of a penalty symbol there by the Tasmanian referee.
But also a shake of the head, so...
and it's going to be a penalty shot.
For gloving.
For gloving it down the back wall. Left-handed player trying to glove it down the back wall, or just using his glove to take it straight off the stick. Right, we're going to play around with some camera angles. What's better? Number 8 or number 5? I'm going to say number 5.
Yep, as we see, this is a right-handed defender for Turkey. So he needs to keep his left hand on the wall as soon as...
Well, he can keep his right hand on the wall if he wants. It's just there's no real advantage as a defender for doing that. Oh, was that a miss flick, or has he just chosen to deke it round him? He's chosen to deke it round him. Very cheeky move there by Jesse Hocking.
But it looks like a goal.
It does. Mr. Cool there, Jesse Hocking, just straight away going whoop to the left, and then just nicely tapping it in, getting round the Turkish bat and just making sure he couldn't come round there. Orange County Underwater Hockey. Is that you, Casey? Casey Nakamura. But there we go, 2-1. Both teams still with their timeouts, as now Turkey use theirs. So because of the penalty clock stopping, we have just less 3 minutes and 48 seconds left of this men's elite semi-final. Turkey versus New Zealand. Turkey trailing New Zealand 2-1. Jesse Hocking with that penalty goal conversion just moments ago for New Zealand. And this is the first time that the Kiwis have led in this game. So...
yeah, very exciting end to this game, Lewis. New Zealand probably getting the better of that second 5 minutes, would you say?
Yeah, just I think that that respite, the way that Nick Healy was able to come out down that near camera side wall and just inspire some territory, just made the Turkish have to reset. The Turkish, once they were set, they were really, really happy just to sit there and defend. And I wish this crowd would get animated for a little bit. I mean, come on, Kiwis, your team's just scored. Could at least act like you're happy about it.
Maybe they're just nervous.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, being 1 goal up against Turkey, Turkey's very likely to have a backlash. Because they must score next.
Yeah, and I mean, I always say when I'm coaching teams or when I'm commentating that the third goal is one of the most important goals in the game, because you go from a tied game to leading a game, and that's going to change the dynamic of your opposition. Or if you were 2 goals up and you then score a third, that's very comfortable for you to be in.
But Turkey, again, using that far wall, driving almost down towards the 5-meter line.
Yeah,
just out from New Zealand's goal.
We're just about to enter the 3-minute period, and that's the worrying thing. We looked at a nice steal, and then he's got some space to swim. The 10, the 5, 3, 2, 1, and here we have it. It's just from that amazing Turkish drive down the far wall.
And listen to the crowd just go absolutely nuts for Hamish Arthur.
There we go. That's a bit better. Hamish Arthur. He's a debutant, isn't he? Hamish Arthur, new black cap, is he?
I know Ed Firth and Ben Parver-Smith are the new caps. Maybe someone on the chat can confirm as well.
There we go. Chat people, is Hamish Arthur.
Well, I know there's 3 in the
cap.
New Zealand team.
Yeah. Well, I think Hamish Arthur was in the team that was playing. It was New Zealand that took the timeout first of all. Now Turkey take their timeout. Very interesting to see.
And you can see the Turkish boys breathing very deep.
Yeah, so we've got 2-minute stop clock coming up. Turkey have to score twice, and now that is a tall order. And what I was saying just as we started that counter-attack for the Kiwis, it was just, being 2-1 down, you scored that third goal, it changes the dynamic of what your opposition are going to do. And you just saw the offside back for Turkey just trying to help on that drive and just go straight back onto the wall and try and put it back on the wall and not allow the Kiwis to break. But the way that he pushed in and the way that the Turkish were just putting everything into that drive, it just meant there was so much more space on the offside. And the line that Hamish Arthur chose there was nobody coming after him, but an amazing line, and just the way that he turned the corner and just was able to swim unopposed all the way through to the goal.
Yeah.
That was absolutely brilliantly timed. Well done, Hamish. So play's just gone onto the far side. Turkey, they're going to have to score in the next 30 seconds to have a chance to reset and then try and get another goal. But New Zealand just looks so full of confidence now as they're starting to move down the pool and turn their Turkish defenders towards their own goal and putting him under pressure. This could be a 4th here for New Zealand.
As
trying to come underneath.
Forward.
It might be it looks like it's gone in. And this could be a 4th, but no, they're saying no goal. And I didn't want to say it too soon, but it did look like there was a bit of a, he swam in front and just lifted his body off the bottom, and that stopped the Turkish defender from coming down. But we stopped the clock with 1:56 remaining in the second half. This is going to be a great closing period. Turkey are going to have to come all the way down to the end and score, and then virtually score for strike if they're going to try and get anything from this game.
So will Turkey take it down the middle, or use their tactic just to bring it up the walls? I mean,
I don't think they can really afford to waste time taking it down the wall with the stoppage in play. I think they're going to try and drive it down the middle and pull on these fouls to slow and stop the clock when they need to, and just keep pushing the Kiwis back. And then, with that rolling sort of blockade they have up front, just to get the guys to turn over one another and just have that support there driving through the middle. One of the best teams to execute that sort of driving maul against the Turkish was the Netherlands in a game in the group stages. 10-3 to Turkey, but the Netherlands just proving that they're really vulnerable if you go straight down the channel at them, and off a strike scoring twice and getting an advantage puck, which set up a goal off the third. But New Zealand now, 90 seconds remaining in the game. Your clock stopped, but my clock says 1:25. And Liam Watson there just coming onto the wall as they're trying to just keep coming down the wall, and New Zealand will be really happy to have it out in that area.
Looking to patiently hold it, keep possession.
Andre Heller just being pushed back in towards his own corner. and Turkey try and bring it off the wall, but because of the way he was just, tolerating being down and just waiting, just able to allow the Kiwi boys, as we now see Jesse Hocking come in and just allowing that time to reset. Not going to get out here as the Turkish player takes it off the wall. And there we go, that's back to Ben Pavol-Smith. And the New Zealanders happy to hold it on the wall. We're down into the last 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Your clock accurate now.
New Zealand recycling it very, very, very easily there.
Liam Watson, nothing composed, holding on to the barrier, but no real advantage gained as he was unopposed off anybody. Jesse Hocking coming back onto the wall.
Turkey looking to drive it.
Yeah, there's not going to be enough time. They might get a late consolation goal, but by the time the referees reset, because there's no timeouts, there's no way that they're going to be able to get back into this game. It was a really exciting first half. I think New Zealand scoring just on half-time was really a changing point in the match, the way that they were able to come out and, come out as if it was a fresh start in the second half.
As we hear the final buzzer.
We have a buzzer, and that's time. And there we go, a little bit of animation from the Kiwi supporters. The Blackfin supporters, I believe you call them. The end score here, New Zealand 3, Turkey 1, and that third goal being that fourth goal really being pivotal for the New Zealanders. So that third goal by New Zealand to take the score to 2-1, which was the penalty goal, the penalty which was awarded and converted by Jesse Hocking. That made the Turkish come out and play. Coming out and playing in that situation, and then just going around the team to score for the third goal for New Zealand, the fourth goal of the match. That was a real turning point. You can see a bit of disappointment there on the faces of the Turkish. They feel a little bit hard done by. Still, doesn't really matter now. It's not such a controversial point, the first goal scored by Turkey, whether it was blocking on the line or not. But an absolutely fantastic game to watch as a neutral. I mean, I don't know if you were a bit more scared when Turkey were pressing on the goal line than I was.
I thought the game could go either way in that second half. I mean, it took until probably, 5 minutes before the end for New Zealand to score. So, very tough match.
The first 5 minutes of that game, first 5 minutes of that second half, all Turkey after a first half dominance by New Zealand despite a Turkish goal. And just the way that they were able to put the pressure on and then convert it, the penalty awarded, and then finally moving off and having the New Zealanders just absorb the pressure when the Turkish came at them was really, really disciplined.
Yeah, I think the New Zealand possession probably was the difference in that second half. They seem to maintain possession of the puck a lot better. And keep those drives going, as well as some great swims.
Everyone I know is commenting today, saying that I sound really tired, and they're saying get some sleep. And it's like I got a lot of sleep last night. I got a decent amount of sleep, even though the Argentines woke me up when they rolled in at 1 o'clock because they missed a bus back from the Old Town. So I think they had to get an Uber or something to get back. But I mean, hey. Turkey there just coming into the cool down pool. Are you wanting to do any interviews with anybody, Ian? Or?
Yeah, I'll see if I can grab some of the.
I was going to say, as long as you're happy, I'd talk to them if you didn't want to, but it's completely up to you. You know the guys better than I do. You'll probably know some better questions. So I'll let you get off, and we'll look across to. Well, I'll look across to you, and you never know. You might be sat with me for the final tomorrow if GB make it there.
Well, we'll see what happens.
I'm sure I'll be here anyway for the final, but.
All right.
Yeah, it's good
thanks so much
commentating
for
with you, Ian. So I'll catch you a little bit later.
Yep. It's goodbye from me.
So that's Ian just leaving us there as he goes over to see if he can find one of the Black Fins or the Black Caps to talk to. I'm sure there'll be a couple of guys who are quite happy, either Rob Tinker or Liam Watson, who will come up and have a chat about that. Maybe Jesse Hocking, he was the guy who converted that penalty. So we have our first finalist for the elite men. It is New Zealand, and they will play the winner of the match that follows this contest, and that will be either Great Britain or France. And Ian has found his man. He's got Rob Tinker, so he's going to line them up in the camera space, and it's over to you, Ian.
So Rob, a very exciting game there.
Zoom in on the camera.
Stressful, yeah.
Very even in that second half. It looked like you, as a team, just maintained a little bit
better possession and had some really good drives going, but Turkey managing to barrel down that far wall a few times.
Yeah, we really didn't want to fall into that, trying to fight them on the wall, and I think at times we got sucked in a little bit, but when we managed to get it off, it was just sort of the more times we could do it, at some point they were going to break, and we just put it in behind their back line, and we got some speedy forwards, and it worked. Got a couple of long-range goals.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Nick Healy doing some great saves at the back there on the goal, and Bucket doing some great drives, swimming.
Bucket's an absolute machine. Those boys straight out of under 23s, they just lead the way. It's awesome.
So, a rest tonight, and looking forward to the final.
Of course, absolutely.
Well, congratulations on the win today, and good luck for tomorrow.
Awesome. Thanks very much.